Evening and welcome to Talking Teeth Thursday, and I hope you've had a great Christmas and a great new year, and that everything in 2020 and this decade is going to bring lots of exciting things for you. I thought we'd have a look back and see what all we had talked about over the last 12 months, and then maybe pick some subjects that we want to look at in more depth next year. So if you've got any ideas, got any questions, post them here and we can see what we can do about them. It's been a great year for us. Growing Smiles has done that. It has just grown, and what we're planning to do is a whole lot more of sharing and helping you look after your mouths better and improve your oral health, because we know there's so many benefits, not just for your teeth and your gums, but also for your overall health. So we will be doing looking at that. Now, let me see if I can do this properly. So what did we start with? Well, we started way back in January last year. This time last year, we started to look at anybody that's got a new toothbrush, because we always said, once you get the person who has everything for Christmas, you get an electric toothbrush. So what we thought we'd look at was how you actually use an electric toothbrush, and how those gadgets and those electronic aids for looking after your mouth actually can help improve your oral health, but they need to be used properly. And no matter what you think you're using, if you're not using it properly, you're not going to actually get the best out of what you've got in your hands. So it's always important to use whatever it is properly, and make sure that you're actually maintaining your oral health to the best of your effect. So that was the first thing we looked at. We looked at sonic toothbrushes, we looked at electronic rechargeable toothbrushes, we talked about battery operated brushes, and we talked about water flossers, all of which can enhance your oral health and actually improve how you actually look after your teeth and gums. And the key is very much not just in what you use, but the way that you use it. Then what we did was I was in Bristol the following week. Gracious me, sometimes it's a trip down memory lane when I look at these things. And what I started to talk about at that point is we looked at balance, and how actually the balance between those things that actually improve your oral health can be outweighed by those things that are detrimental to your oral health. So those things that actually are naturally occurring in your mouth, things like saliva and exposure to surface to fluoride, the plaque biofilm, the bacteria in your mouth, versus those things that actually you can do and actually influence. So it's all about balance, and we've come back to this topic a number of times over the last 12 months about getting the balance right. So it's those things that protect your oral health and improve your oral health versus the risk factors. And the thing to remember with this is always about your risks can change, as can your protective factors change. So there's certain things you can control, and there's some things that you can't control. So the shape of your teeth and the bacteria in your mouth, there's some things that are out of your control. Maybe having chemotherapy where your mouth becomes dry, that isn't a risk factor that you maybe didn't have 6 or 12 months ago. So there's risk factors versus protective factors, and it's getting the balance right and making sure that you're doing enough to actually help protect your mouth and keep your mouth healthy. Now, as the month of January progressed, we actually decided to have an early morning Talking Teeth Thursday. I'm not quite sure why we actually went down in the morning. There's usually a reason for it. Either I was traveling or something odd was happening. But that point we looked at talking about babies and teeth this morning, and it's quite funny because I am visiting my new grandson at the minute, and it's just when you look at that little face and that little mouth and you think, you know something, grandparents are going to have a lot of responsibility for making sure that we actually adhere to what parents want, and actually making sure that we have a role in your child's health as well as their well-being. So all these little things come into play, and it's funny how these things come back a year on to actually mean something completely different, because this time last year I did not know I was going to be a family. So by the end of January, we looked again at the brain and our toothbrush, dementia and older mouths, and I think the news had been at that point looked at periodontal disease in relation to Alzheimer's and dementia. And the key of looking after your overall health and well-being includes your mouth. And if you're looking for somebody else, what things can you do? If you're looking after somebody else's mouth who maybe does have dementia, what can you do to actually help them? So some of these you can go back and have a look at these to see that you are actually supporting any individual properly. So, hi, happy New Year, Sheena. Nice to see you. I hope you're. We're in your neck of the woods, Sheena, at the minute too. Enjoying Cody no end, I have to say. So, anyway, by the end of January, we had progressed and we looked at actually the links between periodontal disease and dementia, and it was really important to actually get the message across that it's not just about teeth; it's about overall health and well-being. So, I'm gonna have to just switch between this again. Hold on, I can't remember how I did this now. I don't want to stop sharing this, but I'll have to do this. Bear with me. The technology is getting the better of me. So, as I say, it's looking at oral health in context of the overall health and actually making sure that you actually are considering that in totality, rather than thinking that your head and neck are not connected to the rest of your body, and the bacteria in your mouth actually do have an influence and do have an impact on your general health. So I say all these little things come into play, and it's really important we start to think of the mouth as part of the whole body, rather than just actually considering teeth and gums and oral cancers, and not actually looking at it in the context of your overall health. So right. Oh, this was a big one. This got a lot of interest. Can you afford poor oral health? We often say that dentistry is not expensive, it's neglect that costs you money. And that is very, very true. Because if you neglect your mouth, you're going to end up needing more treatment that is going to cost you considerable amounts of money, because trying to find an NHS dentist these days can be quite a challenge. So it's really important that you actually consider your mouth as part of your overall health and well-being, and actually make sure that you are actually looking after your mouth properly, and then you can reduce the amount of time you spend in the dental chair, and you can actually protect your overall health and well-being and keep the costs down. So going to see your dentist regularly before there's a problem is much more cost effective than waiting until you've got toothache. It's a bit like not having your car serviced, and then what happens is the part of the engine drops out or your exhaust blows. Getting early signs of disease dealt with is far more cost effective than waiting until it all becomes a real mess, and then it costs you an awful lot of money. So prevention is A, better than cure, and B, much cheaper than the cure. The cost of a toothbrush, the cost of toothpaste, used thoroughly night and morning, cleaning in between your teeth every day, actually eating a healthy diet, trying to keep your sugary things to middle times only, spitting your toothpaste out, not rinsing out afterwards. All those little things actually can have a huge benefit in actually reducing your costs and reducing the amount of time that you end up spending in the dental chair. That took us into February. Now, I'm just looking back at that. I must have been, I had planes and trains. I obviously was on manoeuvres again in February. I was doing all over the place this time last year. Okay, so we got to Valentine's Day. I think I put a couple of posts up, and Valentine's Day is one of those things that we often sort of pop up and say, how kissable are you? This would often be a comment that sort of the professionals would talk about, how kissable are you? Because if your breath is bad, if you've got halitosis or oral malodor, that is going to have an impact on how attractive you are, how comfortable people are sitting close to you on trains and automobiles, never mind anything else. So looking after your oral health again has a big impact. That's dead easy if you don't have any problems with mouth care. Some people can actually be phobic about putting things in their mouth, putting their fingers in their mouth, and have real problems actually getting past that. Other things that actually can cause problems are things like if you have problems with your jaw, so maybe your mouth doesn't open properly, if you are disabled in some way, so you maybe can't hold a toothbrush. Even holding an electric toothbrush for 2 minutes is actually quite heavy going. So So, if you're looking for a new toothbrush, make sure you look at weight. Can you actually physically hold it for 2 minutes? Interdental cleaning aids can be a real problem. People who have chronic arthritis, and that's only sort of something very simple. People who are visually impaired, how do they manage with mouth care? Well, they have to do everything tactilely. So they have to actually think about how they actually feel the plaque on their teeth. So when you waken in the morning, your teeth may well feel furry. Now that, if you take a dry toothbrush and clean 2 or 3 teeth, run your tongue around it, you should feel the difference between these furry biofilm covered teeth and the clean teeth. And so the people who are visually impaired and can't see properly may well actually use that tactile sense to actually help them clean the teeth effectively. And I mean, if you think about it, sometimes you get food stuck between your teeth. You know when that's away because your tongue finds the space and you think, oh, right, well, that is now cleared. So these little things are, simple ways of actually thinking, well, cleaning your teeth isn't really that easy for a lot of people. People who have dementia, do they remember? People who have a bad gag reflex, is that something else that you might struggle with mouth care? Right, well then we got towards the end of February, we got the 21st of February, and this was a colouring sheet that actually a little girl did for me, and I just thought I'd post it at the time because sometimes you wonder, is what you're doing having any impact? Does it make any difference? And this is a child of a family who I'm very fond of, and we've been able to help look after their mouths. And it's when you get that hug from a little one for your effort that makes it all worthwhile. And it doesn't matter whatever your age is. Growing Smiles wants you to have a healthier smile for life. And that might mean 60 years, it might be 10 years, it might be 2 years. But we all want your mouth to be healthier and actually feel better, to be able to function properly. We want you to be pain-free. All these things actually are really important. And that's why we actually continue to do Talking Teeth Thursday. Every Thursday, you will see there's 52 slides. We have not again missed a week yet. We've been doing Talking Teeth for just, 2.5 years now. We've never missed a Thursday. And as we go through these slides, you'll see I've been some funny places in the last 12 months. Now, drinking more water. This is something I think in the news. Often the choice of topics for Talking Teeth Thursday come around in funny sort of ways. Sometimes I get to Wednesday evening and I would be working with some colleagues and I go, right, what are we going to talk about? Talking Teeth Thursday, well, I haven't got a topic. And then what you'll find is that maybe somebody has an idea or somebody's asked you about something or there's been something in the news and you think, actually, there's no health angle from that. So the drinking more water was one of those. And, it's those things that actually make a difference, that you actually, drinking more water, number one, hydrates you. When your mouth is dry, the plaque biofilm develops faster, it becomes thicker, it becomes more tenacious. So making sure you're hydrated is hugely important. If you have medication that's causing dry mouth, even more important to drink more water. But also water helps your saliva flow, and that helps to buffer, neutralize acids and sugar in your mouth. So drinking water, it's easy, it's accessible, and it's calorie free. So anybody that's thinking of having a healthier lifestyle for New Year's, in fact, you bring your New Year's resolution, start carrying a bottle of water. But there are times that a bottle of water is not practical. So most people now, I think, are aware when they travel, if you take a bottle, the outlets at airports on the air side will refill your bottles for you, which is worth knowing because you just go up and ask and throw some ice in it as well. And it really does actually make that really handy to know that thing. But what else is there? We talked about splat oral care foam, which is a foam that actually, again, basically neutralizes the acid in your mouth. It's great for your handbag. It's great for school bags, particularly for sports people, things like that. Sugar-free chewing gum is a great one. Again, lots of evidence to support chewing sugar-free gum after you've eaten. Helps to buffer, increase your saliva flow, helps to buffer, neutralize acids, and again, there's great benefits for oral health. And we talked about the Dr. John's range at that point. So there we go. We got as far as March. And you can see I was coming up with some bizarre things for talking teeth by the time we got into the beginning of March last year. I'm pretty sure this the colours in your mouth came about from my borderline obsession with people knowing what is normal in their mouths. So often when I'm talking to people with glowing smiles, I will give them a mirror, and we will have a really good light, and we look in the mouth together. And I always say, right, let's look in your mouth together. Let's look at what is normal. So we look at the colour of the lips, the cheeks, the tongue, the teeth, look at the colour of fillings, all different colours in your mouth. And each of those colours can change. And the important thing is that you recognise what is normal. So we often encourage people to do mouth cancer screenings and just monitor ulcers and things in your mouth so you can actually recognise they're abnormal. But if you're not used to looking at your mouth, you don't realise the colours that are there. And I say that this was quite an interesting one, the colours in your mouth. So you might be interested in going back and have a look at that. So what different colours there? So what was the black fillings? The black fillings are actually amalgam restorations, and amalgam restorations have been around an absolute lifetime. A lot of people are having them replaced. There's some people now actually going and having them replaced for a variety of reasons, and most dental practitioners are now using white filling materials. Some people still think, oh my gosh, they're not maybe as strong as the silver filling materials, but these white materials have evolved and developed so much in the last 15-20 years that they're just as strong as the silver fillings that have maybe lasted a lifetime. Now that doesn't mean that you want to go and have all your silver fillings ripped out, because in the process of replacing an old filling, the best, most brilliant clinician in the world, there is always going to be another little micron of healthy tooth surface taken away. So you don't replace fillings just for the fun of it. What you do is you do that in an organised planned manner with your dentist. But that's only one colour in your mouth. Always worth flagging up that any red or white patch in your mouth, any ulcer that doesn't heal within 3 weeks, you need to let a dental professional see it. Certainly let your doctor see it, but the people that look at mouths all the time will be the best ones placed to recognise changes, and that's worth remembering. So any ulcer, red or white patch in your mouth that does not heal within 3 weeks, you always want to let a doctor see it, or preferably a dentist see it. Mouth cancers are on the increase. We're seeing mouth cancers in younger people, and that's to do with human papillomavirus. So it used to be people, it used to be classically, the high-risk people, the older men in particular who drank a lot of alcohol, smoked or chewed tobacco, they were considered high risk. Now with human papillomavirus, we're seeing a lot more young people with mouth cancers. And that's to do with the HPV virus and the transfer of that, particularly with oral sex. So it's not something that many dental professionals are comfortable talking to you about, but it is something about being aware of. And this is one of the reasons why there's been this huge push to vaccinate boys for the HPV, human papillomavirus, the same way as girls have been. So that has also been changed, and I say that has been rolled out now across the UK, which is great news. Now then, by the time we got to the middle of March, what was I looking at? Well, how big a deal is your oral health? Why should you care? Why bother? I mean, the number of times over the years people have said to me, well, sure, that's only your teeth. So what? You can take it out or get a false one. Worst case scenario, I'll end up with dentures. Well, so what? My family have dentures. We should all care about our oral health. It is a big deal. And it is something that you can take responsibility for and take control of. Apart from the fact of the cost of having teeth replaced, because if you're having an implant done, a dental implant, which tends to be what a lot of people are now looking for, if they've got a space or a tooth has to be extracted, will have an implant in there, you're talking £2,000 probably minimum. So you multiply that by replacing all your teeth, then your teeth are really something you should care about. We use our teeth for eating, we use our teeth to speak with, we use our mouths to look good. I've just been sitting smiling at family and friends over Christmas. A smile says so much. And if you can't smile, you're not confident with your smile, Again, that has a big impact on your mental health. And that's something else we looked at during the year. And if you've been following the Smile Seeking Snowman story, you can see the difference that actually doing something with your smile actually makes. But no matter how much your dental team can provide you with that perfect smile in inverted commas, if you're not looking after it, if you're not taking the time to care for it, the whole thing is going to collapse somewhere along the way. And I mean, you don't want to put a lot of money in restorative treatment if you're not going to look after it. And that's really, really important to remember. So I'm just going to click back here just to see if anybody's popped a question up here and I am missing it. So I'm just, oh, what have I done here? I'm all right. So, all right. Hi, I'm Heather. Happy New Year. Right, so I'm going to go back to where I was. So I just want to check that I was on track. So, as I say, it is a big deal. Your oral health matters. It's your responsibility. You should care, and you should care about the other people that you can influence about your oral health. As I say, there's a couple of things that have been brought up this year over Talking to Thursdays. I thought we have to revisit some of these. So there we go. That was where we got to. Right then. Some of you have been following my orthodontic journey. Now, again, this is where it became a family affair. So I went to visit my pro-bro, as he is affectionately called at home, who happens to be a professor of orthodontics. My lower anterior teeth had started to move. It was bugging me. And I sort of very conscious that I have quite a quick profile as far as Talking to Thursday, so I'm growing smiles. And I thought, if I'm not prepared to actually do something about my oral health, I can't talk to other people and actually expect them to actually invest and spend the time. So this was the start of my orthodontic journey, and whether I needed braces and what was going to happen about it. Adult orthodontics is actually becoming incredibly common. People who either didn't have braces when they were younger or wish they had, people who had braces and didn't finish treatment, or that the teeth have moved in later life, which is what has happened to me. So my lower anterior teeth have started to drift because I've developed a really weird grinding habit. I'm stressed away at it, totally happy to admit to that. But over a period of time, my teeth had worn and my lower anterior teeth had clouded towards the midline. I wanted to ask an expert about what I was going to do about that and what was feasible to do. So, when you go to look for something like this, it's really important that you're talking to the right people and make sure that you're comfortable and you have a happy relationship with any specialist. Your own dentist is like you can refer you on. Some of them will do orthodontics in their own practice. But that was the start of my orthodontic journey, which I have been merrily blogging. If you haven't noticed it, and I've been quite quiet recently because I'm just on my 10th set of aligners. But this was the start of it way back in March. Now then, happy teeth make great growing smiles. Well, here we go. Here's some pictures of my little darlings who are no longer little darlings. And it's funny because I am just thinking, I was asked by my son-in-law recently for photographs of my daughter when she was a baby. And I was looking at photographs out to send to see that, so we could compare and see how much the parents were like the new child, the new baby. And I'm just thinking, there we go. There were some of them there. Which gives you an idea of what my children looked like as they were little, and they will just love me for having that. But we started this because it was National Day Nurseries Association Healthy Body, Happy Me campaign. And that week, it ran through that week in March. And what we did was we posted something every day in conjunction with the topics that they actually were using. So they looked at diet, they looked at toothbrushing, they looked at fluoride, and they looked at visiting the dentist. So what we did was not Talking to Thursday, was we looked at the topics that they had been using and actually how important it is to instill really good oral care practices early on. And that can often be a challenge because little ones wriggle, little ones don't like having their teeth brushed, they can pick up a storm, and that can actually make it really difficult. It starts at home. If you brush your teeth every night and every morning, your children are likely to follow. They want to do what we do. They want to copy the grown-ups. If they see you flossing and cleaning in between your teeth, when they actually get to that stage where they've got enough teeth that they're in contact with each other, that's when you want to floss. It will be a normal part of their daily routine. So we looked at how healthy little teeth make great growing smiles. So if you start off the right way, you will continue on to have a perfect and a great smile for life. And it is one of those things that we can give children without huge amounts of effort. It doesn't need to cost a lot. Going and visiting your dentist, getting your child registered and have their first dental visit by their first birthday, all really important. Even if they don't get their mouth looked into, it's a great first step for getting advice and information. Then what we did was we, into April, my goodness me, time flies, we looked at autism awareness. It was Autism Awareness Week, and we actually looked at how autism actually influenced oral health. Now, in some cases, autism can present with other illnesses, disabilities, other challenges, but autism and oral health can be particularly difficult because we've got lots of strange noises, we've got lots of strange textures, we've got lots of strange tastes. So Oranurse, for instance, Oranurse Toothpaste, which we keep on the online shop, Oranurse is developed for autistic children. It's flavour free, it's foam free, and it makes it very, very acceptable for people who don't tolerate change terribly well. Toothbrushing can be a real challenge if you or somebody you look after is autistic. Some people with autism don't like the sensation of a power toothbrush. Some of them hate the sensation of a manual toothbrush. Some just hate the sensation of brushing their teeth. So brushing last thing at night and one other time in the day may be a particular challenge. You may need to pick your moment of when you're going to do that. So again, you might want to go back and look at that, because it is something that we know more and more people in many of our lives who are affected by autism and the autistic spectrum. So it is worth actually having a look at knowing what is available to help them improve their oral health. Now, back to the tipping point. I mean, I've come back to this a couple of times over the years. So I was back in the tipping point. I can't remember what actually triggered this, but where's your tipping point from health to disease? And that's the important thing that you need to know. And that's where making sure you visit your dental team regularly so they can actually tell you, there's an early sign of cavity developing here. That is tipping over to developing into cavity. You can nip in there and do those things that actually remineralize and heal early tooth decay, because it is doable, but it needs to be caught in the early stages. Most of us look in their mouths and not recognise that. That's so important for your dentist to recognise these things early on. It's like when you have your gums assessed when you go to the dentist, and they do that little probing and poking thing with the probe, and actually they call out numbers. You always want to be not or one or maybe two tooth where you've got some tartar that just needs cleaned off. But when you get into 3s and 4s, you need to have that looked at. And again, it's much easier to treat, much more successful treatment when it's caught early. But you need to know about the risk factors for oral and in general health, and how those actually stack up against the protective factors that keep our mouths and our bodies healthy. And all those little things change throughout life, and as they change throughout life, your tipping point may well change. So what you've done for maybe the last 20 years has been absolutely fine, but you may have one other factor that comes in. So you may become overweight, and that increases your risk of diabetes, and you're borderline diabetic or pre-diabetic. All of a sudden, your tipping point for gum problems also changes. So these things all actually interrelate, and as I say, you can't chop your head off and think it's not connected to the rest of your body. Your head and your mouth are all connected, all the systems are connected, and everything goes in your mouth goes somewhere else. So it is the entry point for so many things in your body, good and bad. So if you don't eat a healthy diet, lots of fruit and veg and micronutrients to get antioxidants in there, those actually are all then utilised by your systems to actually build healthy connective tissues and help keep your organs healthy. So knowing where your tipping point is really important. So growing smiles can help with that. That's can your dental team. So I was on manoeuvres again. So we got as far as middle of April, and I was in Gatwick Airport, and I actually remember this one because I couldn't find anywhere quiet to do Talking to Thursday. So I sat on the floor in Gatwick Airport, and as near a quiet corner as I could find. So of course, then every Tom, Dick, and Harry wonders what on earth you're up to, because you're sitting here sitting on the floor talking to the screen. But again, raise the topic of how do you manage your oral health when you commute or you travel a lot. Now, I don't travel as much as I used to, but I still see plenty of people that are actually away. They're getting up at 4:30 a.m. for a 6 a.m. flight, and maybe not back until 10 o'clock at night. Now, number one, that is exhausting. Can you be bothered spending 2 minutes at that point in the morning or at night to actually brush your teeth thoroughly? When are you going to get the interdental cleaning in? How are you going to maintain your mouth moisture level? And all those little things, how are you actually going to integrate your oral health care home routine into your lifestyle? And as I say, it's not just going away on holidays, but it can be sitting in traffic, dashing to make connections, stress, and does that increase your risk of grinding your teeth and wearing your teeth? All those little things. So we talked about that. So I'm going to skip back here in case there's something else I've missed. Oh, I should be able to do this. I might be really clever here if I'm lucky. Oh, yes. Oh, hi, Val. Hi, Angela. Oh, hi, Mandy. How are you doing? Happy New Year to all of you. So where did I get to here? I'm going to get back to this screen here. So we're back to this was allergy awareness. I think there was maybe allergy awareness week. But again, allergies, we don't necessarily think of allergies in relation to oral health. If you are allergic to some material that your dentist might be using, it might be an anesthetic, it might be some sort of mouth rinse, great, really important you make sure your dentist knows about your medical history. And it's the little things as well as the big things that they need to know about. Don't ever think that your dental team do not need to know something to do with your general health and well-being. And that includes not just the medications, the prescribed things that you take, it's also the things that you buy over the counter. So I come across a lot of people who would take antihistamines regularly, not self-medicate antihistamines, and yet antihistamines have a really drying effect. That's what they're for. But it also dries your mouth. And that actually can then increase the impact of plaque bacteria in your mouth. So as I say, those sorts of things can actually become might need to become much more aware of those in relation to oral health. So minor frustrations can be created from having allergies. So you have to avoid something, you have to limit how much you can take of something in the context of something to the other extreme of allergy, which is anaphylaxis, and that is life-threatening. So it is something we all need to be aware of. Do you serve ice cream at a party thinking, oh, it won't matter if I use the same scoop for hazelnut as raspberry ripple, and you have a child at that birthday party who is a nut allergy? You may not even be conscious of that. That same nut allergy sufferer may be so sensitive to nuts that even if they use an almond shampoo, that might have an impact. So we looked at raising awareness in relation to oral health, thinking, so don't think of people being fussy. It might be because of a very genuine reason. And as I say, allergies affect us directly and indirectly. So it might be the treatment of your allergies that impact your oral health and maybe making your mouth very dry. Or also your dental treatment may actually impact and affect your allergy. So really important to actually think these things through. So that's where we go. Oh, actually get into May then. Once we get into May, I always start thinking of National Smile Week, as it used to be in the good old days, which now has become National Smile Month, and it runs from the middle of May to the middle of June. And National Smile Month has kept me very busy over the years. But into May, we start to look at where you won't get plaque for good performance. So oral hygiene is all about what you do every day. Every so often what we do with Talking Teeth Thursday it basically has a free for all. So what do you want to actually talk about? What questions pop up? Sometimes it's like, what's the best whitening toothpaste? Sometimes it can be, is an electric toothbrush really worth the money? All sorts of strange, weird, and wonderful things. But so you'll find that these frequently asked questions or what question pops up can actually start us for Talking Teeth Thursday. Now this was really interesting. This was Mental Health Awareness Week, the 15th of May, and it's not, mental health is not something you necessarily always think about in relation to oral health, but your oral health and even having dental treatment can actually have an impact on your mental health. And that can be stress related for those people who actually are phobic and really, really struggle with having any sort of dental treatment or things in their mouth. You know, that's all an aspect of mental health. Medications for depression and a lot of mental illnesses can have a big impact on the mouth. Side effects, often things like dry mouth, and that can have an impact on your risk of tooth decay and gum disease. So it's always worth actually thinking these things through. Mental health and oral health, it might be people who are suffering from depression or some other mental illness. Oral health is way down their list of priorities. They cannot think about cleaning their teeth. They can't be bothered going to the dentist. They just really don't have an interest in very much. And self-image has a huge impact on our mental health. We hear about young people and suicide, and because they're not part of the in-group, that they don't look like everybody else or what they perceive everybody to look like. And your mouth is a big part of that. So, you know, if you have got a problem with your teeth, that you've maybe a congenital problem that maybe has left some marks on your teeth, that can make you very, very self-conscious. Often kids can be very cruel to other children and they don't understand or they don't want to understand. And all those little things can impact on your mental health. One great reason for having orthodontic treatment, and no matter what your age, or as a smile makeover, is actually to improve and increase your self-confidence. And I have seen that work so incredibly well for so many people over the years, that maybe when we first come into contact with them, their hands over their mouth, they don't want to talk to us, they're very self-conscious of the appearance of their teeth and their smile. And then when they've worked through a process with dental professionals and they've got the smile they wanted, it actually self-confidence, personality is the first thing out of them. So that is a really positive aspect of oral health on mental health. So as I say, one we looked at quite a lot of times over the year. Now, there I was in Manchester, and I think I was at a conference in Manchester in the middle of May. I think it was a basketball conference, Society a study of community dentistry, and it was one that's I start this as a conversation starter. People ask me what I do. I say I'm an oral health coach, and it is really a great conversation start because people don't have a clue what an oral health coach is. And then I say, well, it's a bit like a personal trainer for your mouth. And then we talk about, you know, what Growing Smiles is about and how Growing Smiles actually supports what happens when you go to the dentist. So as I say, that was a great conversation starter, and it was one that I actually would have, again, touched on quite a lot. Towards the end of May, again, I'm just going to pop into the other screen here, just to switch programs a wee minute, just to see, oh, what have I done here? No, we're all right. I'm all right. We're doing okay. Right, I just go back to where I was. There we go. Wow, some of you will remember Pam Ayres. Oh, I wish I'd looked after my teeth. And this was a great poem. I want to say circa 1970 something. I can't remember. Somebody else is probably going to remind me. But the great sentiment of Pam Ayres' great poem about it basically said, I wish I'd looked after my teeth. And it was very much reflective of, you know, it was really too late now. But, you know, something that's never too late or too early to start taking care of your teeth. We're all living longer. The majority of the population are living longer with some teeth, if not all their teeth. Many of us have a lot of complex dental treatment, and that can go from just a lot of fillings, trying, bridge work through to a lot of implants. And as we get older, those mouths, our mouths are going to become more challenging to maintain because our dexterity is going to be influenced, our diets are going to be affected, our memories are going to be affected. All these things influence how much effort it takes to maintain our oral health. But you know something, if you've got things as a habit that you're looking after your mouth well, it's much more likely that you're going to maintain that. So starting to look after your mouth from the get-go is a great idea, and then maintaining it long term is something that should just be part of your personal hygiene routine. Cleaning your teeth washing your hair, having a shower, washing your face, all should be part of your personal care routine. And yet often teeth are the thing that are neglected. And again, there's been a lot of studies published, and some of them have made news this year about the poor standard of oral health and oral hygiene that is performed and maintained in residential care homes, particularly nursing care homes of the elderly. So it is something that we all can be thinking about, particularly if we've got an elderly relative that we are looking after. Even making sure they go to the dentist regularly, because often they have lost contact and maybe moved away and they don't have access to their previous dentist. So all things to keep thinking about. Now then, into June, do you need to rethink your oral care? Things like diabetes, heart disease, obesity, dementia, and cancer have common risk factors with oral diseases, and yet we often don't actually think about our mouth in relation to them. You can have your oral health affect your general health. Your general health affects your oral health. Treatment for oral diseases can affect your general health. Treatment for general health diseases, so for number of ailments, can impact on your oral health. So you can't, it's back to this whole thing of looking at your mouth as part of your overall health and well-being. And poor oral health is more than just an inconvenience and pain. Toothache, if any of you have ever had toothache, you'll know there's very little that is worse than tooth pain or oral pain. But it also can impact, poor oral health can impact things like job prospects, life chances, and oral cancer can actually kill you if it's not detected early. And it's often overlooked. So, 1 in 20 adults admit they never visit a dentist, and over half population said they would cancel a dental appointment if they had money worries. Now, that means that we are not prioritising oral health. How often would you cancel an appointment with your doctor? Now, it's all very well saying, it's different, it's not going to kill you, but potentially poor oral health can actually make you very ill, make you suffer a lot of pain. Something like mouth cancer can actually kill you. There are a lot of work days missed due to poor oral health, and there's a lot of school days missed due to poor oral health. The number of children having multiple teeth extracted under general anaesthetic, which carries a life risk, is ridiculous for a preventable disease. It's not just about pain, infection, but you've got poor eating, poor sleeping patterns. It can affect your social life from the point of view of fresh air, confidence, and all that sort of thing. So, the evidence connecting oral and general health is stronger than ever before, yet so often we consider medicine and dentistry. We think general health and oral health. We think our body, and our teeth. It's starting to look at putting your mouth in your body and thinking the whole thing are connected. So, as things change in your life, your oral care should change to actually balance that out. And it's back to that tipping point there. So how much effort do you need to put in to maintain your oral health, obtain and maintain your oral health? So much has changed within dentistry and general health care in the last 50 years. Is it time that you need to think about your oral care routine? One that's close to my heart. Do you snack all day? And why do you snack? Now, we have a population with ever-increasing waistlines. More and more people are suffering from type 2 diabetes due to increased weight gain. We're not nearly as active as our grandparents, where our diets have changed into something much more like grazing than eating meals. Many families don't sit down and eat together at meal time. Do you snack constantly? Are you bored? Are you sitting in the car? Are you studying? There's great paper published last year, which probably prompted this, I'm thinking, to do with teenagers and the fact that teenagers are sitting on computer games, screen time, laptops, are eating and drinking, are totally unconscious of how much food and liquid they're putting in their mouth. And, is it good? Is it bad? Is it indifferent? But grazing throughout the day is a common way of consuming far too many calories. And I think it's worth stopping and thinking, is there a price to pay for that? You know, type 2 diabetes is more than just inconvenience, but type 2 diabetes called a pre-diabetes stage can actually be reversed, and you can actually do something about that. So thinking more than just keeping cavities away, thinking about your overall health in relation to your oral health. So, you know, the delivering better oral health, which is public health, and will recommends reducing the frequency and the amount of sugar-containing food and drink, not just for preventing cavities and improving your oral health, but also the big benefit for your general health and well-being there. 26. This is Jocelyn Harding. Jocelyn is a dental hygienist and has done a huge amount of work on mouth care for cancer patients. And Jocelyn was our very first guest on Talking to Thursday, and she shared her knowledge and experience of mouth care for those affected by cancer. And if you've not gone and looked at her website before now, please do. The links are on that Talking to Thursday tab. She is a brilliant woman who actually really genuinely cares about the people she comes into contact with, on actually improving the journey of those affected by cancer, not just mouth cancers, but it's care of anybody that is suffering from cancer, because again, it's something that's often neglected, not looked in the context of overall health. So Jocelyn, we've got a link in the website, so if you go into our tips page on the website, you will find the links to Jocelyn's website there, and lots of information for anybody that you feel may need help with their mouth care if you're affected by cancer. I did this slightly psychotic image. I'm not even sure how I did that, probably by accident, knowing me. But what makes you smile? We looked at what makes you smile. The summer, the sun was shining. One of those rare days last summer that we actually had sunshine. But what makes you smile? And are you confident with your smile? And is your smile worth looking after? So that was one that sort of we threw in there in the mix. As I say, some weeks I come up with better ideas than others. Sometimes people have said things to me that actually make me think, oh, well, that's a good idea. Here we go. Here's one back to the frequently asked questions. So we've gone back to the things that we get asked often. So what is the best toothpaste? Well, that depends on what your situation is. Are electric toothbrushes better than manual toothbrushes? Yes, there's no debate. We cannot argue the point now. A power toothbrush will remove more plaque biofilm than a manual toothbrush in the same hand. Does that mean that you need to go out and buy everybody an electric toothbrush? No, it means that if you are, if you're thinking of it going that way, it will remove more. The key is very much how you use your toothbrush rather than what you actually use. Electric toothbrushes, my guidance is always rechargeable, one that's going to fit around every surface of every tooth. The power is in the bristles. The power actually drives the movement of bristles. For a manual toothbrush, you have to wiggle those bristles. So you can't really compete, because you're looking at electric toothbrushes that move at sort of 7,500 times a minute, compared to how fast can you actually vibrate the bristles against the tooth surface. So it's not that electric toothbrushes will clean faster, they clean more effectively. So why should you go to the dentist regularly? Well, for a whole lot of reasons, which I've talked about before and I'll talk about again. They monitor your mouth. They will guide you as to what you need to do on a daily basis at home. They will be able to fix problems early, which is by far the best way of doing it, and they will give you advice on how to prevent things recurring. So when you go to the dentist, it's not just about, oh, you've got a hole in your teeth, you need a filling. What you want to know then is how you prevent another cavity developing, so that you know what to do about it. And if you want to, you can always come and use Growing Smiles for exactly that, because that's what we can do. We can fill in the spaces that sometimes the dental team don't have available to them. Not that they don't want to. It's like everything within the health service. Time is hugely short. If that's even, can I say that? Anyway, I've said it now. So why should I floss? Isn't brushing enough? Toothbrushing will reach between 60 and 70% of the tooth surfaces in your mouth. What about the other 30 to 40%? Well, actually, you need to clean in between those teeth for fresh breath, for healthy gums, for preventing cavities in between your teeth. If your gums bleed when you floss or you cleaning in between brushes or when you're brushing, if your gums bleeding, what you do is you spit out and keep going. Got to remember, healthy gums don't bleed. Now, you've one oddity in that. Many smokers think that their gums are healthy because they don't bleed. Now, smoking restricts the blood supply to the gum tissue, so you don't get that early warning sign. So if your gums are bleeding, that's an early warning sign that you need to up the effort of your biofilm control to your toothbrush and cleaning in between every day. But if you smoke, you may not be aware that you have a gum problem, a gum disease. And the only way you're going to know that is by visiting your dental team, and they will make that assessment because they have other methods available to them for actually assessing that rather than just bleeding gums. How to get your kids to brush their teeth, that's make it fun, do it regularly, get them to brush with you. Preventing cavities, talked about that at length. I mean, the more often you put sugary things, food or drink into your mouth, the more likely you're going to end up with a cavity. What you need to do is make sure the teeth are strong enough to actually resist whatever sugary attack that is going into your mouth. So that's where good saliva flow goes, healthy diet, and actually using fluoride products. So it might be toothpaste, it might be fluoride mouth rinse at a different time of the day when you brush your teeth. It might be another remineralizing product, something like Toothpaste or NI Paste Plus, which is amorphous calcium phosphate and calcium phosphate, and those actually remineralize and harden tooth surfaces. So there's a number of things at a number of different levels to actually help prevent cavities, to help actually protect your teeth. What do you do if a tooth has been knocked out? And then there was links there about how it can be saved, and what causes morning breath, a whole lot of things there that actually we looked at that point. That was the beginning of July. So let me just go back here and see where we are. Oh, okay, where are we? So we're all right here. Right, okay, so let me see. Let me just hold on here. Ooh, right. So what did we go to next? So we got as far as July, and then I was off in manoeuvres. 11th of July, and guess where I was? I did talking teeth that evening from an airport. I think we were waiting on a flight to Georgia or South Carolina. So I had been obviously in the water in Long Island Sound. You can see the New York skyline behind me there. And always when I travel, I always have a little rummage around the shops in airports, and often look at the products, the oral hygiene products that are available. And of course, I did say something about the US versus the UK, who has better teeth than that. Actually, the scientific evidence is actually statistically the UK is a lot better than maybe anybody thinks. So I say that's the one that you might want to go back and have another look at there. So let me see. Oh, and then we'd made it as far as Savannah in Georgia. And again, I was looking at what shops and airports. I think I spent far too much time in my airports. But we started out from Savannah in Georgia, and I then did talking teeth at 30,000 feet. So that was a new one. I can honestly claim we have done talking teeth Thursday from planes, trains, automobiles, on foot. I think we've done it from every mode of transport and then some. So we did this on the move, and it was great because the lady that was sitting beside me also joined in. It was great fun. But we were seated and ready for takeoff. But while we were sitting waiting in the lounge, I looked at the coffee that was available and just how much sugar there is in some of these coffees. So when you think you're drinking your latte, think about how much sugar is in that. Caramel latte is maybe 34 teaspoons of sugar in that, and you can be actually sipping that over quite a long period of time. So you can find that when you think that your coffee is good for you, it's not doing you any harm, and then you suddenly realize just how much sugar there is in some of these drinks. So coffee is no longer just a cup of coffee with milk in it. We have very fancy drinks, and teas are the same. A lot of fruit teas are actually very acidic, and that can be a challenge as well in itself, and that can cause tooth surface loss and tooth wear. So again, all things to be thinking of. Excuse me. So got to the end of July. Prevention better than cure. That has got to be my mantra. Prevention is better than cure, particularly where your oral health is concerned. I have yet to find anybody that likes putting their rear end in a dental chair. And if you tell me you do, I might start to wonder about you. But you know something, you can take control of your oral health. It's your responsibility. You're the one that can make the difference. And it's all very well saying, as long as you go to the dentist every 6 months, you'll be fine. You know, it's your dentist looks in your mouth at a point in time, and they can comment about what your oral health is like on that occasion, in that point in time. But it's you that actually looks at your mouth and actually maintains your mouth every single day. And that's why it's so important to make the time and not be too busy to care about your oral health. It is all about priorities. We can make excuses for everything. But you know something, sometimes it's about finding solutions, and that in itself can then make progress, improve your oral health. I was having an early morning one beginning of August, and I decided we were going at 10 a.m. for tea and teeth. And what we talked about was cleaning in between. This has just made me feel really bad because I meant to actually subtitle that whole Talking Teeth Thursday about interdontal cleaning and actually put it in the YouTube channel. I haven't done that. But you can still subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are so inclined, because I am planning to do more with our YouTube channel. But anyway, toothbrush can only clean 67% of the tooth surface. What about the other 30%? That's where cleaning in between your teeth comes in. What should you use? It depends on the space and the shape in between your teeth. It might be floss, it might be a brush, it might be a water flosser. We talked at some length about what was right for each space and what might be right for you, and how that actually might change over time. A favourite tooth. Do you have a favourite tooth? Now, this is one of my slightly quirkier thoughts. We tend to all start brushing our teeth in the same place. So think about it when you're brushing your teeth tonight. The chances are you're putting your toothbrush in the same spot you always start in. And the law of average in human nature being what it is, that probably gets the best clean. That surface of that tooth gets the best clean. By the time you get to the last part of your mouth, the last corner of your mouth, boredom might have set in. Standing in front of a mirror with a toothbrush between them actually is a big ask. 2 minutes is a long time to stay in one place. Very few of us stay anywhere for 2 minutes apart from front of the TV maybe. But think about actually making sure that you're spending time on all surfaces of all your teeth. And it is useful to try and start brushing in a different place every time you brush. More chance then of you actually getting it an even clean throughout your mouth. Back to the frequently asked questions. Look at some of those that any that people wanted to have. Oh, there it was my birthday, and there is me 50 odd years ago, and how oral health has changed. So I just thought I was feeling very reflective, as you do when you get to this stage in life. And I started to look at how dentistry has changed, how oral health has changed, how some of the diseases that we see now weren't really talked about much 50 years ago. Mouth cancers, one of them is a big one, much more awareness of mouth cancer. Root decay, so tooth decay that affects the roots of the teeth. So that is very much, sort of not quite a modern phenomenon, but we're seeing it much more commonly because we are retaining our teeth, we're getting some recession. The root surfaces of our teeth are much softer than the crowns of our teeth and will decay much more rapidly. And yet often that's the time when people sort of put off going to the dentist, don't see a hygienist regularly, stop worrying about their diets as much, maybe have poor saliva flow, their self-cleansing mechanisms are affected. So the ability to clear food from your mouth. So if you find you're finding food sticking around your teeth more than maybe it did 10 years ago as you're getting older, a lot of that's to do with the muscles in your mouth, the musculature, so your ability to actually run your tongue around your teeth, and bits of food sticking, clearing them from down different parts of your mouth. All that actually can help improve or impact on your oral health. Materials, white filling materials, the fact that teeth are being extracted more or at least equal to how they were 30 years ago is dreadful for preventable disease. The number of children that are attending hospital, the most common reason for children being admitted to hospital is for tooth extraction. Now that is ridiculous because it is a preventable disease. Now in some circumstances, there are things that happen that people have no control over. But by and large, the majority of those extractions are being done due as a result of tooth decay, and tooth decay by and large is preventable. And it's something that we go on about all the time at Home Smiles. So, now, where was I dashing away from here? So, I was in Edinburgh speaking to a bunch of academics at the Dental Institute in Edinburgh, and I think I was cutting it short, getting back off the plane, getting back in the office to do Talking to Thursdays at 7 o'clock. But I did get there in the end. And again, I talked a little bit about how I was talking to the team at Edinburgh and what we were going to look at in the future about what we were doing with training students. So anyway, what do your teeth and your mouth say about you, and what would they say to you if they could talk? Right, I haven't completely lost the plot at this point. I'm trying to think. There, a thriller writer. I was reading a book at one stage a long time ago, and it was one of those books a pathologist was doing an assessment of a body, and they started to talk about the teeth and how the wear patterns on the teeth said about where the person come from, the type of dental treatment that had said something about them. You know, if they'd had certain types of crown and bridge work or gold treatment implants, that would imply that the person had a significant amount of money, whether they'd lost teeth, all those little things. So what would your teeth say about you? What would they say if should you be opening haircuts with your teeth? And do you open bags of crisper cut bits of sellotape with your teeth? That's not what they were designed for. And sometimes we give our teeth dogs abuse, no disrespect to the dogs, but things that our teeth really aren't designed for, and they can suffer from. Okay, I think I had, there's a January one that should have been way back in January, obviously, and I've reordered these to try and get these. I have them in reverse, and then I'll try and reorder. Obviously missed this one. This was way back, asking everybody about your New Year's resolution to improve your oral health, and see how that was getting on. September in Liverpool, and I had the Disney ship outside the room that I was talking to people from, and that was quite fascinating, and all the razzmatazz that goes with Disney and everything else with it. But yeah, back to the Americans. But what we were talking about by the middle of September was why 2 minutes is so blooming long when it comes to toothbrushing. Now, you take toothbrushing as takes you 2 minutes to do it thoroughly. Now, that's a second and a half for every surface of every tooth if you've got 32 teeth. Now, you then have to add on to that the time it takes to clean in between your teeth with floss first, then you do the toothbrushing. Realistically, your oral hygiene routine is probably going to take more like 4 or 5 minutes. Now, that seems an awful lot of time to spend, but is it worth that time for a great smile, clear speech, the ability to chew and eat food, everything you want to, be pain-free, no bad breath, bleeding gums, the benefits it has to your general health? We went back then to baby teeth again. So I was doing a lecture for one of the postgraduate deaneries on TLC for new teeth, and we were talking about baby teeth and how to actually help people look after their children's teeth. So what we did is we had a sneak preview of what was coming for that. And do you need to go with the extra smile for someone's smile, yours or someone else's? Now that is a challenge, because if it's a toddler that doesn't like having a toothbrush, it can be like World War III. If it's an older person that doesn't realise that you're trying to help them, that can again end up with a problem, can be really challenging. And sometimes it can be easier to ignore it than actually persevere and try and make progress. So what we did was, there had been a new resource just published from Mouth Care Matters that we actually looked at specifically for a group of people in hospital settings. But what we did was a lot of tips and resources in that actually were applicable for any of us to improve our oral health. World Mental Health Day. Again, we talked about mental health issue and how it's good to talk. It's good to talk about oral health in relation to mental health. And middle of October, I was away at Stormont. I've had quite an interesting week. I had been in London the week before, helping with or contributing to the next edition of Delivering Better Oral Health, which is basically the guidance for all dental care professionals as far as the advice, the evidence-based advice of oral health. And then the following week, I was at Stormont, and where they launched the new oral health strategy called Oral Health Matters, and how they were going to focus on children and the elderly, which again, all very close to my heart. So there we go. Just going to tidy these last few slides for you. So we're talking to you Thursday about Halloween and the sort of looks you would have. And then I freaked everybody out, including some of the family, by dressing up for Halloween and just getting a little too much into it. We looked at perspectives, having your teeth straightened as an adult. What else did we do? I'm going to shoot through these because I know people have better things to do. What are the best oral hygiene products to use? How do you choose what influences your decision? We looked at talk. This was the questions that came up through the Growing Smiles live chat function on the website. And again, very, very interesting and very humbling. We had a Black Friday sale because it was Thanksgiving and we thought we'd have Black Friday sale. And then we talked about what you buy the person who has everything. How do you actually make those choices? Are you confused by what you see in the shelf? Are all toothpaste the same? How do you know what you're looking for? We got as far as polling day. Who gets the power? Who wants selected toothbrushes and why and how they might be able to be used? Then grandparents. This is something I am going to come back to, because when I started looking at the role of grandparents in oral health, I realised actually very little evidence, very little studies and research been done on actually how grandparents can influence and do influence their grandchildren's oral health. As the world is getting smaller and more grandparents are becoming the carers for their grandchildren because of two parents working and all those sorts of things, they have a big role. We then have the Smile Seeking Snowman throughout December. That was one that sort of got a bit carried away. Instead of Elf on the Shelf, we decided to have Smile Seeking Snowman. That basically gives you a whole insight of people, how you can go about actually changing your smile and the journey to that smile. And that basically took us to the end of the year and took us right back to where we started. So here we are, new year. And I do not know what all we're going to be talking about this year, but I tell you one thing, we will come up with something, because I have never been stumped for something to say about talking about teeth. So, Happy New Year to you all. I hope, I appreciate you all joining me and persevering. I will be here, same time, same place next week, and I'm not sure what the topic's going to be, but you know something, we'll have one. So until then, look after yourself. Don't forget to brush your teeth tonight, and don't forget to keep talking teeth. Thanks, folks. Bye.